Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number 14 of the Atlas Annuity Podcast. I am your host, Marty Becker, and the owner of Atlas Financial Strategies in St. Louis, Missouri. I want to start this week's episode with a quote from Nietzsche. Kind of a weird guy, but here's what he said: "The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die. As well, the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions, they cease to be mind." Now that's deep, man, and disturbing because I hate snakes. But what is he really trying to say in that quote? So the process of a snake shedding is to make room for its growing body and to get rid of damaged skin, but also to get rid of parasites. And as gross as that is, if it's unable to shed that old skin, it can actually die. And just like in the human mind, if we are unable or unwilling to let go of our old ideas or paradigms, our thinking and therefore our results in life become stagnant. And when your thinking is stagnant and rigid, you no longer really have a mind. You're just operating on habit and possibly false beliefs at that point. And this is very applicable to retirement planning because I have talked with a lot of people who are beyond frustration and aggravation because they've done everything they were supposed to do, such as invest in a diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, and it's not working. So I don't blame them for being frustrated. When companies stopped offering defined benefit pensions, the average American was tossed into this world of finance via 401ks and was basically told to figure out this whole retirement thing for themselves. And a lot of them got absolutely slaughtered. And then the same people that are getting blamed for not having enough money to retire on are hearing things like, "Hey, we gave you a 4% match in your 401, so what's the problem?" I mean, what a freaking joke, man. So, this is exactly why I've structured my whole business model around education first and then finding the right solution for my clients. Because I want you to think about and understand this retirement stuff. You don't have to be at an expert level, but you need to have a working knowledge about it because no one cares more about your money than you do. So, there's really two reasons that people will call me about a second opinion. The first is just to get another opinion about annuities in general. So I'll have people call me and say something to the effect of, "Hey, I watched your information and I was talking to my neighbor about it, and he told me that annuities suck. But what you described seems to be the opposite of what he was saying." And then I'll ask, "Okay, what does your neighbor do for a living?" "Oh, he's a pilot." "Okay." So normally when people say something like annuities suck, they read an article or two, which are normally referring to variable annuities, and then they just assume that all annuities are the same. So that would be like me walking into his cockpit after reading an article about a plane crash and telling him my thoughts on aviation. There's no way I know anything close to what he knows about flying a plane and getting his passengers safely to their destination. Just like he doesn't know anything close to what I know about using annuities to get my clients through their retirement safely. So just be careful who you get your information from. Or maybe it's not your neighbor. Maybe it's your financial advisor that tells you annuities suck. Well, here's the problem with that. We live in this world of advisors that is a complete dichotomy. A client will walk into a traditional advisor and say, "I need a hole." And the advisor immediately busts out a shovel and starts tearing up your yard. And you start saying, "Whoa, no, no, I wanted a hole in my wall to hang a picture." And then he takes the shovel and starts busting holes in your drywall. Or a client will walk into an annuity advisor and will say, I need a hole. And he'll take out a drill and start messing up your walls. And you're like, no, I need a hole in my yard. And then he goes out there with a drill and starts making a bunch of tiny holes in your grass. And all the while, you're watching these guys destroy your property and thinking, what the hell is going on here? And this is the lunacy of the financial planning world, because you look at this scenario and you're totally confused while trying to make sense of this giant mess these guys are making of your house, when all you really wanted to know is, am I going to be okay? Am I going to have enough money to last me the rest of my life? So, getting a second opinion, especially on an annuity, is a smart idea, because I'm going to ask you, what kind of hole do you need? Meaning, I want to know, what is the purpose of your money? And sometimes the answer is, you need a drill to make that kind of hole. Or, no, you need a shovel for that kind of hole. But the vast majority of the time, it's, you need a drill and a shovel. And what you want is a person who's really good at using a drill and one who's really good at using shovels. The other time someone will call me for a second opinion on annuities is when they already determined that they need a drill and someone has pitched them on a particular annuity. And the vast majority of the time, they either went to a dinner seminar or their traditional advisor recommended one after they couldn't talk you out of keeping all of your money at risk. And almost always, when people call me for this reason, they've been given the wrong recommendation. The problem with the dinner seminars is that you have a person pitching the exact same product to an entire room of people that have very different circumstances and needs. But they'll tell you it's the quote best annuity out there right now. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There is no best annuity. There is only the best annuity for you and for your personal situation. And a lot of times, if your traditional advisor recommends one, he's basically recommending whatever he has access to, because most traditional advisors are limited on what they can recommend versus an independent advisor like myself that can shop the entire marketplace. Now, what do these two scenarios have in common? It's not the annuity that's the problem. It's the recommendation of how to apply that annuity that is the problem. You can't just pitch the same product to everyone, because these annuities are designed very differently to accomplish very different things. And this is why you'll never see me do a dinner seminar, and why it's very rare that a traditional advisor actually provides the best annuity for someone's situation. What you do? What do you do about this problem? Get a second opinion. Even if you already own an annuity and maybe it's close to being out of surrender or you're going to activate the income, get a second opinion. I kid you not, a guy just called me about a month ago, and he's had an annuity for the past 10 years that he's getting ready to activate the income on. He told me what he had, what the value of it is, and we just did a quick comparison of what he could get if he moved the money. And the guaranteed income that was available with a different company was something like $14,000 more per year. All he had to do was just move the money. It was that simple. Was that worth the phone call? Yeah, it was. Now, that's an extreme example that even I was shocked by, but it makes the point that it's worth taking the time to do your homework. So, to recap, why the second opinion? Because we don't want our minds to cease to be. We have to keep thinking and learning and exploring, and not fall victim to the belief that just because we've been told something our entire lives, that it's the truth. We have to do our homework to really verify those beliefs. And like I mentioned earlier, This is why I'm education focused in the material that I produce. A good starting point for people, if they are new to the annuity world, is to watch my video series, 20% More Spendable Income in Retirement, which you can find a link to in the show notes, or by going to atlasannuity.com and just navigating to the video tab. And then once you've had a chance to challenge your beliefs, you can click the schedule a call button in the top right corner of any page on the website to book a short phone call with me and get your questions answered. So that'll wrap up episode number 14. If you found this information helpful, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with someone you think it may be helpful to. Again, this is Marty Becker. Thank you for joining me today, and I wish you all the best in your financial education.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Atlas Annuity Podcast. All information presented is for educational purposes only and is not a recommendation to implement any tax strategy, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or transfer any security or insurance products. Atlas Financial Strategies Incorporated is an insurance-only licensed entity, and any decisions to buy or sell securities should be discussed with a licensed securities advisor, and any tax strategies should be discussed with a licensed tax professional. Past performance of any strategies or products mentioned are not a guarantee of future returns. For any other questions or concerns, please go to www.atlasannuity.com.